All right. So today, like for the governance meeting, we want to actually like walk through, kind of like talk about the governance like framework that Alexa like shared last week. That's one. And then I do know like Tess is like trying to propose that the DAO invest like and kind of buy some coca from her. It's like kind of like buy like half the harvest of coca from like this indigenous tribe that's like based in Colombia.
Cacao.
Yeah. The coconuts. Coconut, not coconuts. The chocolate. Cacao.
Yeah.
So the initial investment sum she's looking for is like $1 to $2,000. We have like more than enough of that. I just finished the auditing like of our accounts. We have like around like 7,000 plus like dollars in our treasury, which is good. But now I think like the next question is like I think like there's like a whole bunch of like stuff missing in her proposal.
Yeah, some things like legal papers, like some evidence, like this is real, this is the Prince of Nigeria.
Yeah.
So, but it sounds good. We saw the pictures and everything.
Yeah.
But actually, again, I don't know if he didn't send like a document.
No.
Nothing. It was just a paragraph.
Yes. So I don't think she has like that familiarity with financing. So we probably have to like if you want to actually go ahead, we have to like set up the financing terms. From my perspective, that's one. Like, okay, if the DAO inject like the $2,000 into like this project, how much we'll get in return? Like over how long a period? That's like one. Two, in case like she screws up, how do we get the money back? Yeah, okay, that's like the high level financing like side. And then like the next thing like I'm thinking about is like the operation side, right? Doesn't seem like from my perspective she has any like experience at all with import export. No, zero. So maybe like one way we can do is like kind of have the DAO involve like the community members, like in exchange for tokens, help like find like buyers and help like figure out like which buyers actually want to buy. So we can like before we even like put the money in, we already kind of like do the due diligence to see like okay who's gonna buy and like what the actual profit margin is. Yeah. And then like one of the things is she's like saying is gonna generate around like what 400 to 500 pounds of coca for like that $2,000 like investment we're gonna put in. So what 4,000 divided by 2,000 is like what $2.25 a pound. And then she's trying to sell for $55 a pound. 55. So the question is like, is this something that the market is receptive towards? So we have to check. So if it's receptive towards, that's like almost like a 25x return on capital.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's like you take like what 5,000 like
the main question is like if all the cost and everything is
because like you have to deal with shipping, you have to deal with customs, and you have to deal with the logistics
certifications because that's full, right?
Yeah, it is.
So if they are like the I don't know some
then you can export
inside. Yeah, you need some labels and some papers and everything. So.
Yeah, wait, let me like bring them closer so they can hear.
Oh, I don't know.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
All right. So like the end-to-end, right? Is like kind of like do the due diligence because like she has no plan yet. So I would expect like something like this coming from her. Fatima was like very nice and polite. She like usually when she like criticizes about some business plan, she can like come to me like privately and say, Tess is so immature about South America. It's like the whole business plan is missing. Right. So yeah, from my perspective, if we actually want to go ahead, I mean, it's like,
but maybe it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. Yeah. I mean, like from my perspective, at least it's a good opportunity to kind of like test to see like how the DAO would actually be able to support this kind of like transactions. Yeah, that's like one thing. And well, maybe an opportunity to increase like the overall like a USDT in our vault. Yeah. So I would propose.
But there was someone interested in that last meeting. Who? In Ecoverse.
Ecoverse. You mean Karin?
Yeah.
Karin like was only interested in like buying
for cosmetics.
For cosmetics, they share butter. So like I like talked to like Betty because Betty actually did some exporting from like Africa to Europe. And the mom's on the receiving side, right? I text Betty is like saying, can you like figure out the end-to-end logistics? Because we like to figure out how to like clear the customs. So once we like do like a first round, we'll have experience like doing that. Before when I was like doing all the export business, I was dealing with like the electronics and stuff like that. So it's like small batches. So
that's in Colombia, right?
No. Oh, you mean Betty was like
no. This
Coca.
Yeah.
Shipping out of Colombia. That's why like you're gonna be there in Colombia.
Should I?
Should.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, up
It
to you.
depends on the funding that off-chain is willing to provide for the Latin American enterprises and
Ken, what is the budget? I mean, like depends. No, it's like if you're gonna be in Colombia, I'm gonna be in Colombia anyway. Yeah, like I really want to check the facility to make sure it's there and like check like to make sure like they have like the proper kind of like sustainable practices. Because if we kind of like want to build like the triple bottom line kind of business model, it's like we cannot like have someone actually like getting coca and like really using like bad practices.
So let me understand. You're thinking about like providing finance for
That's one like very
One of the
surface
value stream.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe I was thinking at the first we provide finance because like these farmers, if they actually like really need like they're like following proper practices, we can like finance.
so you can maybe like tokenize their
Okay.
how do you say, the plantation or something
We're
like
like
that?
tokenize
Their
their
crop.
harvest, their crop, kind of like pre-sell it.
Yeah,
No, we buy it, pre-sell it, and actually like put it on the chain. Kind of like
Yeah.
create like commodity futures.
yeah. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, and then like not just any commodity
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
generated
commodity
using like
that-
sustainable methods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a commodity which is not a commodity.
Yeah,
You're
kind of.
commodity.
it's a
Commoditizing-
placeholder for the commodity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the nice thing is that it's
Tangible.
it's tangible, and also it's like it can have like story, a tracking.
Yes.
There's a family behind that. There's
Yeah,
a land.
yeah.
There's a story. So
Yes,
you have
yes.
like this more
Yeah.
qualitative
It's not just
side.
about exploiting
It's
the
not
earth,
just the material.
No, it's like the
It's not
whole
the material, it's-
humanistic like
Well, that's-
value around.
Yeah, so there's a need for that.
Yeah,
because there's
yeah.
a lot of and and also there's a need to the infrastructure for these people to be able to participate in higher value.
Yes, the higher consciousness. No, we are
Yeah.
talking about elevating humanity to the
Yeah.
next level. If we don't, then like that next tsunami that comes,
then-
we are all swimming.
Yeah, the point there is
Yeah.
if you make it the model buy and sell,
Uh-huh.
you get into the same game mechanics of low
That's true.
cost.
That's
So
true.
maybe what I've been working
Uh-huh. Yeah,
is
yeah.
partnerships.
Uh-huh.
So then everybody's partner
Yeah.
on the highest
Uh-huh.
value. So it's like one is providing cocoa, the other
Uh-huh.
one is providing
Yes.
intellectual property, and the other is providing
Yeah.
orchestration, the other providing
Uh-huh.
capital, the other,
Yes.
and then
Uh-huh.
you can have like a kind of like you can distribute. It's like everybody aligned
Alignment.
into the value,
That's true. The higher value. And our value
higher
is
value. Because
autonomy, integrity, and diversity.
Yeah,
And
nice.
purpose is building a battle based on verifiable.
nice,
Yeah, yeah.
nice.
So actually, like the way I see it, like this, like whole import export is just one arm of it.
Yeah.
This prong
One strategy, right?
Huh?
It's one strategy.
is one of it. It's
Uh-huh.
like you like I always use like the British East India Company analogy.
Yeah.
First, you have the explorers,
Uh-huh.
you have the commercial people, and then you have the military that comes in to protect the trade route
And religion.
and the religion. You don't want to like say like a religion up front. It like starts feeling like a cult, but actually it's not like religion. At some point. Like the Barbara the other day, yeah, actually when you look at it like the overall thing, it's actually less of a company and feels more like a religion at some point. Because it's based on higher human ideals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So maybe here for test like stuff, I would propose that if she follow us up, we like start identifying holes that we should like fill in terms of details. Because Barbara has like experience in Brazil. It's like her family also runs like a whole bunch of farm. And Fatima, she's like really experienced like with all the MBA like business models. I think like through like the both of them, we can really like identify a whole bunch of holes. And then like figure out how we can like support this like particular transaction just to see how end to end the whole thing flows.
Yeah.
That's one. And then like later on, maybe we can like figure out like other models to actually like build on top of like this foundation.
Yeah.
Because the way I'm like thinking about it, financing, yeah, within the DAO itself, right now we have like $7,000. I was like thinking maybe after like reading like the whole open AI like share equity structure. Yeah, like for-profit arm and like non-profit arm. The for-profit arm,
Did you read it?
they have it. Like
Uh-huh.
they say we need to like have like an opportunity for private investors to come in and
Yeah,
put their
yeah,
money and still have that proper return that they can answer to the LP.
you
Right?
need to give them.
That's why when I like was reading through, they say that particular like structure, if the early investors come in, they're like given like a 100x return cap. Beyond that, right? All of it goes back to the non-profit arm. And the 100x return cap makes sense because traditionally when venture capital firms put their money in, they need the position to hit at least 100x, at least one, so that like they can fulfill the quota of tripling their LP's money within like 10 years, right? If they don't, none of it hits within 10 years, they'll look for a new job somewhere else.
Bye-bye.
So from our perspective,
So basically what they're basically doing is the VC is helping them scale. but not own.
No, to a certain point, and then they fuck off, right?
Yeah,
They take money and
but
fuck off.
that's nice because you give the capital exactly the use,
Right,
the right use.
there.
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
So the way I would see it is like for this particular thing, we probably have like a two-tier model, like the people that come in with like sweat equity initially, this is issue governance tokens, right? And that we back with like all the money in the vault. Okay. So right now, as of like this morning's audit, we have like 2.1 million like governance tokens issued and around like 7,000 plus like USDT in our vault. So it's like around like 0.00033 cents per token. Yeah. And then the investors that come in to actually like finance the the batch, right? Maybe what we can do is like we kind of issue like a separate set, maybe like an NFT of sorts. Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
For what? For the
It's like, okay, we need to raise $2,000 to like secure like 50% of the cacao.
Yeah.
Okay, right. You put like $2,000 down, those like we kind of like mint like NFTs. You buy it, or we kind of keep it simple. No, if
Wouldn't it be better to get like some better understanding on the valuation of the project and the future, and then those NFTs can be maybe shared for the future?
That is possible as
And you
well.
are doing the the part in between the funding and the project.
Yeah, that can be good as well. So I was like thinking once
we were talking, right?
Yeah. Once we figure out the base foundation, then maybe like the next like set, we can like do that. Or maybe
It is
initially
like a pilot.
Huh?
This is like a pilot.
This is just by lot. Because like
But what you're validating, because I'm doing some things similar with the and what I'm doing is like starting with one or two businesses in order to get the flow and to validate exactly what are the journeys and the points. And maybe you don't want to validate the membership, but you want to validate the business.
Yeah, I'm just trying to validate the business point. That's why I like initially I'm like maybe we don't even need NFTs. Just like come up with like a debenture like agreements, like say
an Excel and
no, like a legal doc.
Legal doc.
It's like saying I put like $2,000 in 6 months, I'll get like $2,000 back, and how many percent back? Yeah. And then that will keep it simple, like for like this initial transaction, just to like know that the underlying business model actually works.
Yeah, well, that's the point. When you have that kind of structure when you're validating one of these, we're doing that with waste. For each line of, because it's like we're putting together different value chains around waste.
Yes.
And we're looking for partners for each one of those. So we're opening capital for each one of those. Instead of like the big thing,
Makes sense.
Because then you have partners.
Karine, who's like based in Switzerland, that's like not on this like call today. She actually like is doing that for the cosmetic industry.
Oh, nice.
And then I actually like spoke to Olaf. I haven't like had time to like follow up because I'm like so all over the place. Olaf like says it's part of the cradle to cradle. So like after this like the introduction.
Oh, that's cool.
So you guys via WhatsApp, you guys can follow up and like have a conversation.
Sure.
May I ask something, Gary?
Yes, Anita, please.
Yeah, just because I also read the little framework, but would that be a guild, what you're talking about, or are we in the pre-station of, for example, inviting such a project as a guild?
I see what you're talking about. I would see this like this particular ecoverse. Guild is one term, project is one term. You can just like use guild if it actually makes you feel more comfortable.
So it's in the framework, so this is why.
It's within the framework. We're exploring that framework right now. By the way, guys, if you don't know, Anita is a specialist in legal. She's So within our DAO, we have like 2 legal specialists, Alexa and Anita. Yeah, it's good that Anita is here so that we don't do anything illegal today. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yes.
I will be writing you then.
Okay.
All right.
I can tell already it's complicated and it will depend.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So
So you're completely professional.
Yeah,
yeah. Anita is very
Completely
professional.
It depends.
Notice is like we have the light in the background, so no one actually sees
it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry.
All right. Ken, any comments? No, Ken is probably on an. Oh, okay, never mind. So next. So if we look at the DAO business model, like right now, Edgar is generating subscription revenue. That's good. So we can use that to like back already. You like start seeing how it's like backing the value of the governance tokens. Like over the like course of like what 2 months, our like fiat value actually like jumped by like 20%, which is good. So I'm like thinking of like after like understanding like the whole trend with like the whole AI thingy, all the AI stuff is starting to come into the ecosystem.
Oh, sure.
Before that, I was like thinking to myself, where the hell am I like when I was like building Get Data to actually find all these like startups to market to them, because then there was like not a lot of AI startups, but now this seems to be mushrooming. And Get Data's like whole infrastructure is actually geared towards providing data to like all these like startups. Yeah, and then like before I even like started like those whole DAO thingy, I was like thinking of like already like starting to tokenize like that platform itself. So one of the things I'm thinking about is like, yesterday I kind of like spoken like briefly, maybe like you applying like the framework that Alexa came up with. We can like say, okay, we have like this set of tokenomics that if members of the DAO come in and actually perform this set of actions, they'll be awarded governance tokens. And in exchange, right, Get Data every month will like agree to channel like 10 to 20% of our revenue if they hit the target to the DAO's vault. Okay. And that will like further increase and make available like the funding that we have in our vault to like finance other related activities.
But which data?
Then it's really up to the members to like figure out like what the need of the AI like companies are. And again,
No,
like,
but again,
yeah,
could be anything.
Yeah, that's why like the whole. I don't know. No, I come up with the high level idea, and there's the.
I think I have the solution.
Okay, tell me.
Yesterday I was talking to him, and I think the last week I was thinking on the right framework.
Perfect.
So
that's why we have you.
And you know what? And it's a platform.
Tell me.
No. Actually, it's something like needs to get the right narrative.
All right.
But it's something for you to do, because this is for funders, right? So it is like defining the right narrative. Who are your ideal members and why? And what's the mission, right? Which is the territory? What the people needs to be doing there because they belong there. They need to go.
What's their common goal?
What's their common goal? Because the purpose.
Yeah,
it's a game.
It's a verifiable.
It's a game.
It's a multi. How is it? It's a multi. ¿Cómo se llama? Multiplayer game.
Yeah, and actually it's like imagine a
live game.
Imagine if it's a role-playing game. Like
which
is the difference in between playing Star Wars and Dungeons and Dragons?
Or playing like Marvel superheroes.
Exactly, superheroes. Well, you have powers, you have
playing
it's like the expeditions and the Indian company.
right?
Or pirate.
Yes.
Or playing becoming a professional. It's the same thing. It's same narrative.
It's the same narrative,
structure,
So what I was thinking is doing a platform when you're just, asking a lot of questions and coming and going, and then what you should get at the end is your statements, the DAO statements,
actions.
When we were talking about the rule book. That you have your mission, you have the purpose, the right culture, your values, everything in one paper. Imagine it's like the Independence Act.
What we expect.
This is like
the Declaration of Independence.
Exactly. This is the Constitution.
And it's a call to adventure.
Yeah, and it's a call to adventure, because then from that platform, what you can do is just get the right people
to go for the right missions
and align
the purpose,
because that's
with the higher core value.
Yeah, because otherwise you're trying to micromanage. Or you try to. So we need to provide with overall. Yeah, it's an overall framework that guides everybody.
Guide
in
everybody's
reality,
action to
in
the
order
true
to,
norm.
yeah, exactly.
But
Yeah.
every DAO has their game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
But the founder is the one that sets the initial narrative. That's going to change eventually.
Of course,
The founder,
The founder, the team, the community,
governors,
the
yeah.
governors, could be
Whatever.
anyone who has the right to vote.
Yeah.
To define that. But needs to be clear. Because if not,
fine, right?
it's
It
no,
could
but
be
because this
refined.
is what we were talking, right? Like
they kind of like define it during like last week's session with Anupa, isn't it? Like it's already all it needs.
something like that. Well, but that's Ecoverse, right?
No, Anupa.
Oh,
is
no,
like,
no, I know,
that's
but
like
we were
for the
talking
whole
about the
DAO.
landing. No, exactly, because when we talk about the landing page,
Yeah,
how
that's
you
for the
need
whole
to
DAO.
define exactly. You need to
So
define
now we are like talking about Ecoverse.
You know what we can test? I'm using the some methodology from Amazon and Tesla.
Okay, let's try.
And which is basically using the idea of like going to the future.
Yeah.
Looking back.
Okay. The
creating
5-year
a-
plan, huh? Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like really master plan, but it's like really it's a news.
Yeah.
It's
News.
a PR.
Yeah.
So you grab it like the history
Yeah.
of what happened in 2030, for instance.
Yeah.
And with that we have like a 1-page something that it's a news.
Yeah.
Something like
So all the
happened.
efforts aligned towards that vision.
Yeah, that's a tractor. It's a future attractor. So
Okay.
and then people says, oh, okay, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And then we come back to today. So in order to do the first steps,
So
towards that vision.
define success.
Yeah,
Defining
exactly.
success.
Defining success narrative.
So each
short
project
narrative.
or each guild should have its own vision.
Yeah.
It's going to be different, right?
Yes, of course. It's like the guild that's actually like working on Ecoverse, if you like
That could be a
operating very
guild, or
different.
could be a tribe,
Yeah,
or
or
it could
something.
be,
Or the project and the guild is like kind of
Because it's focusing on different needs and desires of the community.
yes.
That's
Maybe
those are
the
ships.
purposes.
That's true.
they have a captain, they have
What
a
is it?
crew.
The fleet, right?
They have maybe it's a fleet, maybe the DAO it's a fleet, maybe not.
Well, that's-
maybe-
that's the-
Now it's like the EIC, right? And each like each guild is like a fleet. A fleet kind of
Yeah. It's if
The
we
one
can,
Commodore.
if we make it generic, it's like you have different reality fields.
Yes, of course.
So you have the reality field of the DAO,
Yeah.
and then you have sub-reality fields.
Yes,
Games.
and each
small
one is like a
games.
standalone kind of game, like engage in like say Ecoverse, like okay, sustainable farming practices, exporting that.
Yeah,
but
Then
people
you have
cares about
Edgar,
that.
then you have this, then you have
Edgar
that.
provides like how you like gather like data sources to train this AI to like generate insights for the community. That's Edgar's game, and then get data. How you actually like get people to go discover data sources to come in. Actually, like that other members can use for their own AI. See. And then like cyber defense, how like all the various DAO members go out and find out the scams that come in and actually get rewarded for like finding the scams. Or like actually like for cyber defense,
But
after
each one of those is like a game,
yeah, it's like its own standalone.
and you can have like
Yeah.
the roles and the points and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
actions. and all
Yeah,
that
it's like,
stuff.
But right now the problem is liquidity, right?
liquidity.
And the
Well, you need to find I think the point now is to find a scalable, repeatable.
Yeah, once you find the business model that works, the
Yeah.
money, you don't have to worry. They'll come
Yeah,
because you just like show them the business
Oh,
model
no,
is
no,
like
sure.
already proven.
But you need to validate that. That's
That's-
the most important thing.
That's
right
like what
now.
we are doing right now at this
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
So like with the task like transaction for the cacao, we are validating like the core assumption about like Ecoverse 21. That's one.
Yeah.
Get data IOs like stuff like the whole core utility is already like validated. It's like I've been generating like revenue every month without me even looking at it, So yeah, so that one is like it's like a nice bolt-on to be a standalone entity. So it's more like a collaboration. We can get data in the DAO. And then like some actions that the DAO members perform on the platform, like will be tokenized. And then like in exchange, you like benefit like the get data platform, like by bringing value, and the get data platform like has this agreement with the DAO that every month, like 10-20% of the revenue goes to the DAO. So
That's
that
good.
will finance like all. You see how the symbiotic relationship actually works, right? Then along the way, if we come up with like came up with like other projects, or discover other projects, then we can like talk to founders and they can bring their project in, and like the same like relationship that Alexa has drafted in governance like framework, we can like apply it. So get data is like the first like real like test of that. Framework. Yeah. Ken, haven't heard from you at all. Any inputs?
Yeah, I just wanted to write. I have to jump in the car and I will connect from the phone and be back in 5 minutes. Yeah, inputs. I think what you just before I leave, I'll be back also from the car then. What you described, Alexa put very nicely already in the framework. We need to be a bit more detailed, as I'm missing a few bits, but she did a brilliant job in setting it up.
Yes.
And also what you said, I liked very much. I forgot your name, sorry. The guy who is for 3 years already beautiful. Florinopolis.
What?
Yeah, you. Sorry. That this to really define the mission for each guild or project, and then visualize it would be great. And also, it's funny because at the weekend I had a conversation also about envisioning the future and then looking back. Because it's funny. I also read at the moment this book about the order of time, and it exactly describes that at a macro level in physics there is no difference between past, present, and future. So, but we only understand the past. So, if you want to understand the future, you have to pretend that the future is now, and then you look back. So it's super interesting you bringing this up. Brilliant.
I've been doing a lot of researching on quantum also.
Nice.
By labs, trying to do real things with that, applying applying this kind of knowledge. Probably I took a look a lot of talks from him.
Him.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Very good. Okay, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Sorry.
Barbara, any thoughts after listening?
No, just like
All right.
absorbing and now connecting the dots, so see the possibilities of connecting people.
Yes.
Making
Barbara, like a little about Barbara's like background. She was like leading the research operations for like Oxford. What's that?
Oxford Business Group. It's an international research company where what we did I was the country director in Papua New Guinea, and I stayed there 2 years, gathering all the information, technical details with my team across all sectors, and one of them obviously was agriculture. And so, but I work in many other countries in Africa, so I do have some contacts of the people that
Nice.
from those fields, and I could contact them. See what's going on. In fact, I have a friend. He owns a company in Kenya that actually does that kind of business too, and is looking to connect companies here in Brazil to do business.
I think China's been doing a lot of everything with the idea of platforms. For the small.
Like Alibaba, AliExpress.
Yeah, exactly. You have this kind of business model that's different from Amazon, for instance. So I'm my whole thesis goes about the growth from the global south. Because the global south has not been too much developed, and we can find another trail to develop it different than the West. I don't know. Tem muita oportunidade.
É muito
Sim, muito.
All right.
E aí dá para trabalhar com o que a gente está fazendo, muito distribuído, né?
You need to pay, Gary. Come
I
on.
need to pay up.
Come on.
That's what it is. I just need to pay
I
up.
think I have the paid version. I need to change.
Hi.
Welcome, Anupa.
Anupa.
Can't see you now.
Hi, Ken.
Oh, you can see nothing because we are in the darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hoping to find the light.
Yes. I'm trying to upgrade the account now so that I can so that this session doesn't shut off.
Okay. Should we just use your Brave account?
No, my Brave account doesn't even work. I can't host more than 4 people. Oh wait.
Okay.
I tried to upgrade and it refuses to because they did not do a proper job.
How
about your Google account?
Huh?
The Google account?
Yeah. Oh wait, actually, no. You guys continue the conversation first. Let me upgrade this.
Wait,
Then
do you keep carrying that bag?
it's great.
It's like my God.
That's
Is
fine.
the-
Homeless, we need to buy you like a paper
it's
bag.
like I have like a.
He was like with that, with like a lot of cash inside, was like a Kobo Santa Claus.
Hi, Anita.
Hi.
I see you're on the on the go.
Management.
Yes, I have to pick up my son, but I'm still with you.
Okay.
Starting just a new one or no?
Basic,
to-
pro, business. Fuck. Do we have a monthly? Okay, monthly. Upgrade to pro. Okay.
Yeah, it's for
And then it's done. Yeah, just give me a okay monthly.
Every DAO needs an operations guy, right?
yeah,
yeah.
An IT guy.
Yeah, that's me right there.
the credit card guy,
order.
I would say, not even like
The person holding the credit card.
exactly.
Man,
That's the liquidity pool, right?
Yes, like right there.
Can you pay for the server? Can you pay for the hosting?
You know, we have like three dedicated liquidity provider in the DAO right now, right?
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, like Jacob is like providing like way more liquidity than me and like
But infrastructure.
Bao are doing. Yeah, it's like paying directly for the Amazon like web services. It's paying like this month is paying like more than $900.
Can you also pay for Miro then? One added.
No, it's like Bao. Bao is like the one that's like paying for Miro. He already agreed to it, didn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think he's done it. Can you ask him?
Yes.
Like
Bump
just
him in the group, no? It's like if he doesn't respond, then I'll like go bump him. But first, bump him first in the group.
okay.
Yeah, please do that, Anupa.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Now we go back to unlimited. Like, okay, perfect. Upgraded, done. Anupa, you're talking about the whole research thingy. Like Barbara is like the country director for Papua New Guinea for like the whole like research operation. No?
Hi, Barbara. It's so nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was just an idea. I don't know how people feel about it, that there is so much of conversation that is happening so actively on our WhatsApp groups, and there is a lot of indirect research happening as well. So we were thinking that if we can structure this kind of research into things that companies would want to, let's say, buy. Not saying that this is quantitative data, but this is like grass level root data, which people need to, let's say, do focus groups, or they need to contact XYZ people in that specific area, right? And since we have few people who are doing that, this is just in example to the agrotech project. Maybe there is something that we can incentivize that data. So that was the basic idea.
So maybe Barbara, you can share like some of the key challenges like you experienced like when you're the country director, the professional side, not the after hours, just the professional side.
Because Papua New Guinea is very hard to get like real information there, and so that was the main challenge, to get real, data and numbers on everything, doesn't matter the sector was it, especially because the big companies, they like to hide, a lot of information. But
yeah,
the logistics there was it was something easy. And I guess the logistic, and like they were saying as well about, like the importation, all those details, I think that's the hardest part,
Importation of what?
I mean, like the crop or the cacao in this case,
I see.
like those technical issues with logistics.
Yeah, like the clearing customs, the storage and the transportation.
That's the main thing. I have no knowledge around here, actually.
I
How does
see.
it work?
What about like kind of like you were like creating reports for like the Papua New Guinea, like
Yeah, so we would have a team of editors, on the field, connecting, all kinds of deeper, data. Because I would talk with the CEOs, but like technical details, they would have to talk with the technical people, and we would, compile all of those informations and share as well a Bloomberg terminal and ACOM terminal, And as well, you know, online, you just have to subscribe and you receive all this information.
Yeah.
But to really understand because it's easy for a company to just say, oh, we are doing this and that, but the reality could be a little bit different. So to really understand what is real and what is not, because they obviously they want to portray that they are doing, you know, the best business. So I think that's the hardest part, to really understand what is the reality and what is happening on it.
Basically, get due diligence and the ground truth of things. Huh?
Because that's the difference between, you know, like the business we were doing and some other companies. They would just go and send a journalist or some technical people there for like a week, and they would have one perspective. But once you're there, like, you know, you really understand the reality, and it's not just like one picture.
That's the main what I've been looking at, this extremely fast development on new value chains. It's because it's that basically it's like looking at the value chain, like Elon Musk does. It basically goes saying, okay, how many tons of raw material has this rocket?
Yes.
How many times
can you reuse it?
No, they say, okay, this is the raw material cost.
Yes.
How many times it's the end product? And this is okay. Why it takes like more than 10,000 times? There could be things that could be optimized on the whole value chain. And basically this is what we're doing. Then having people on the ground is the key to have insights of like really doing this kind of optimization.
And I think that's where this comes in, because if there are people within the DAO at the, you know, and if we pick a certain produce or a certain, you know, area, then they can do the ground research, right? With obviously with validation in terms of, you know, video, photographs, you know, data management, you know, like not data management, but, you know, via data analytics. So that can be one area that we can look at, you know. And there are other things that are coming up in terms of like projects, you know, and that's also something that I thought we would bring up, is that like how do we kind of systemize that, and maybe, you know, Anita, even you can maybe talk about this a little bit. So the thing is that, let's say, you know, like, so Gary and Thomas and myself, we had this discussion about the onboarding onto the website. Now, like the discussion was that, you know, how do we make this a little bit more systematic and a bit more organized? Because right now, you know, people are coming through WhatsApp, and the thing is that, yes, so we have to identify who are these people. One, Gary stopped laughing. So even in the dark, I can watch you, see you. You know, I've got my third eye activated. So one purpose is that people who want to contribute, like us. Okay, one people would be people who want to do projects, you know. One people would be the projects that are already happening, they want to add, and the fourth one would be the investor. Now, I think we need to streamline it, like, and see how, even if we add people into groups, if they come into the group with their own agenda to get investment, that is a different conversation, because that really takes the conversation off the track for the group that there is, and people might not want it, right? So I think maybe that is something that we can talk about and standardize, and maybe put it up as a poll. I don't know how we're going to work this, since there are only like 7 people out of the 300 who are in the DAO today.
Doesn't matter. It's like amongst us, we already have like a lot of voting rights.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, so maybe we can like definitely look at that journey, because it's important. Otherwise, people are going to start switching off, you know. And the purpose is to bring projects, you know, together. And I think that is one of the main things of DAOs, right? To create, like, you know, this value for everyone.
Anupam, may I jump in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, before I forget the point, maybe we could do like a little questionnaire to help the people position themselves. Like, how do you want to contribute? Where? So that we kind of like in a decision tree, we guide them to the right group and show them what they need to see. So as a kind of onboarding service on our homepage.
Yeah. We do have that idea. So we had this idea for the homepage. You would have like whatever, the description and the projects. Under projects, you would have like criteria exactly like what you discussed. Yeah, because everybody has a different journey that they want to join, and some might not know. They want to figure it out. I don't know. Even if as a DAO, maybe we're being too instructional. But I think there has to be some format that people know where they can position their their self. Yeah.
Like if they don't like where they're standing, where they can go to after that.
Yeah.
For example, like Anupa came in and was like standing in the cypher defense space, and she realized not much contribution after talking. It's like, actually you don't belong in the cypher defense space. You actually belong in the Ecopus 21 space, right? You like have like all this knowledge. And next thing you know, she comes in actually like starts standing on the onboarding space because she's like has like knowledge in like the whole like design thinking methodology. Yeah, now you're standing in like a lot of different places.
Yeah, maybe I need to leave some spaces which I'm going to see because I'm good at deleting WhatsApp groups.
Yeah. Hello, Des.
So,
I think that will be much more easier when we have this lovely homepage that you are building.
Yes.
Yeah. I think so maybe we can decide about that because the thing is that
And from a legal point of view, I think it's also important that you have an overview because like we also tell the people, well, you're responsible for yourself to take care of your own legal requirements. So they need to know what's going on. Oh, I'm trying to park now, so it's a challenge.
Yeah.
I think Alexa very clearly stated that like particular legal disclaimer governance framework, right? It's like in terms of especially in terms of taxation. Because now like the governance like tokens actually literally means like money.
Well then
so if you kind of like work for the DAO, well you kind of like liable to like file your own taxes. Though like the nominal fee and the par value is like the nominal value versus the par value is like a huge difference.
Yeah, really. Right.
Yeah, of course. It's like we are all contributing at $1 a token, and like based on like the money in the vault, the total issued like tokens, we have like what 0.0033 cents per token. But I believe as our like effort continues and it actually goes in the right direction, the par value of the token will actually go up. Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah. I think like this approach is like way better than like the existing approach where like people just assume.
That's
what?
That's a way. That's a game.
It's a game. That's the whole game, right? It's like so you make a world better place based on verifiable truth. The value of the token goes up.
Yeah. So to have it more clear, and that's a way to put it. I mean, To put like what's our success? What we're what's the desired future we're building?
Because if not right now, again, it's like more about fake news than the true insights on how this token can be.
Yeah, I think like the original like inception of that was like how to like tackle fake news, but I think like it's really like this DAO has really grown beyond that scope.
I think so.
It's like way beyond that.
It's the Indian company, right?
It's the Indian company.
For me, when you have insights, in order to position yourself, in order to serve the future as it emerges, and you create social capital, between people and trust and money and resources and information and everything, then you have a kind of like
more projects grow, and that gets you into more space. And
you have more opportunities, access to more opportunities,
and insights. Those gives you more opportunities and more access.
Exactly.
It is a compounding like system at this point.
Infinite insights.
Yeah, infinite loop.
And also, Anita, I don't know if you saw that message about like sub DAOs. I don't know how it would fit into our context, because see, we have like the parent body, which is the TrueSight, right? And then you have like these sub projects, whether it's our sub projects or somebody wants to, let's say, present a sub project. Like, how does that feed it, even in terms of the tokenomics? Like, if somebody's creating, some sort of own project, or let's say all of the projects, there'll have to be some sort of like equity that goes into the actual treasury of the, the original TrueSight, right? And then would those sub DAOs have their own legal connotations, or would it all fall under the same one?
So,
so in a yeah. You want, Alex? Yeah.
So like just now before you came into the session, I was like talking to them about like how to like trial like the governance like framework like by Alexa, by seeing how we can stitch together Get Data IO and like TrueSight DAO, because Get Data IO has already like a functioning business model. And then like it was like, okay, it actually like it's the whole thing grows based on virality and network effects. No, I like built the whole thing based on social network. So now the idea is, okay, let's define like a few actions that's going to be beneficial to Get Data.io's like social network platform, which is based around data. And then in exchange, right, every month, this is how I'm saying it, every month, if like the KPI gets hit, then, well, by the DAO members, like for performing the task, then Get Data IO will take like 10 to 20% of the revenue generated by our revenue, the revenue stream of Get Data, and park it in the DAO. Then it becomes a symbiotic relationship, And then meanwhile, GetData.io is like its own separate legal entity. So long as the KPI are met every month, then like this arrangement will happen. Then of course there should be like a failure like scenario whereby 3 straight months nothing happening, then like the agreement ends. Then bye. Yeah. So like the failure case.
Yeah, that's what, sorry, that's what also, Thomas, you were saying, right, last time, in terms of like the roles and also project expectations. Because if let's say TrueSight also, let's say any investor investing in any of the projects will want to see what is the capacity of success, right? Because there has to be some percentage that the investor will also take in at the end of the day. So I think we need to put in some sort of criteria for the projects to say that, okay, this is working, like a KPI.
KPI, straight up KPI.
Now and then trying to get, like, for example, cyber
defense. Yeah.
Right. So that's a problem, because if you have revenue from another project, then why are you paying tokens to that project that doesn't provide any profit?
So it's like you think of it as the EIC company, and you have all these Commodores commanding their own fleets. This Commodore went to like the East India, went to the East Indies, brought back a whole bunch of spies. Oh, great! You like generate like money for the company. Great. You need like troops. You need guns. We like support you. You went to Hawaii, spent 6 fucking months over there, chilling by the beach like Johnny Depp, like Jack Sparrow, just sipping margarita, and then like use up all your cash, come back to like us, actually like ask for more budget. You're fired.
There you go. But then, if you define the narrative,
you had success on
so success. Margarita on the finance of the company. You deserve to get fired.
Don't drink on our money.
Yeah, it's like make money using our money, and don't like waste our money unnecessarily.
No, because if not,
I want to add here something, but didn't we in the House of Balance also discuss that non-materialistic values also should count? So if we say, for example, if we agree cyber defense is so important to us that we accept that it's not making money, because we just don't get the right angle, but it's so important for society, I think that should also count.
But then either way, you should have, because it's a social impact, then it should have KPIs either way.
Like for example, like Dan's like project artist build community, they're like zero profit, It's like he comes to me, and the only reason why I'm like willing to even spend time with him is like, okay, show me the KPI. He's hitting it, It's like, okay, great, good. What do you need from me? Okay, you need my advice to like structure the operations. Good. You need me to make introductions.
And then again, maybe on those also it will be
they all have KPIs
to get like do open source and try to get it as open to all the.
Maybe we can like try to standardize into a way to look at those things opportunities, challenges.
SWOT
instance,
analysis, huh?
Well, what we have is a challenge. For instance, the cybersecurity thing. We have a challenge, humanity challenge or something like that. That's and probably an opportunity.
Okay.
Every time I see a challenge, there's an opportunity because that creates value.
Of course.
So then you understand what is the opportunity, you size it, understand it, and then bring it to the community in order to have different ways of funding, solving, whatever.
True. And then that's why I think last week or the week before last I proposed, right? All the for-profit projects. We need to have a business model like Canvas, even Ecoverse 21. So when you really take the discipline of get all the members to come and actually fill up all the slots in the business model canvas, you see how the business model actually work.
It's the ecosystem. It's the ecosystem business model.
So and then
there is one that I'd created, which is which has the main business model canvas, but also in reference to communities. Let me just check if the Miro has been paid for, then all of the projects can have this and people within it. Because see, I don't think it's fair for me. I'm not in cyber defense, right? Anita and you guys are there. So you guys should be, setting the KPIs within the group and then seeing what is the larger KPI set by TrueSight as a standard rule. And because we have to customize systems, otherwise if we do it, it'll become like a factory that we have one set system and everybody's doing it, right? Then what is the difference between us and an organization? Nothing.
Organization. So every guild, every sub DAO should actually have their own business model canvas and KPIs.
But you need to have coherence at every level, right? Because if not, it's going to be a problem with the tokenomics.
Because
it's the same token, right?
It's the same token. And when you go back to the main DAOs, can we have allocation for next season? Is the main DAOs what the fuck is this?
If what you're saying to me, right? Remember, so this is Argentina is a really nice place to buy some dollars.
Yes.
So then you're having some exploits, right? You need to find the right rules and the right narrative. It needs to be aligned, because if not...
aligned with the 3 values. What are the 3 values?
Autonomy, integrity, and diversity,
It's like
and the rules.
And the rules.
And one thing go on.
This is, for example, what I miss. I know that the framework is probably not finished yet. So, for example, the governors, what would be their responsibility, for example, to reassess the meeting of the KPI? I think that's what we are talking about, and this needs to be somewhere. I think that's what you mean, Anupa, somewhere written down so that you can follow up. And so it's, it's like in a country, you determine what are the rules of elections, of decision making, and that's what
governance.
The governance. We have governance rules. Maybe we just need to transfer them in the document. I just had a look before we met.
What I was also suggesting, for each project there has to be like a starter kit, because I think people forget why they are there, what is the purpose, what is the value, and what is the contribution. Because I think one of the main challenges within the TrueSight is that the projects are fantastic. Even let's say cyber defense, before I left, I think it's a great project, but you need people to contribute to take that project from just a conversation to something which is a reality, right? From conception to implementation. So how do we start generating that interest between the people? Because one thing I think we need to talk about openly, maybe in the town hall, not in the beer hall, is that for us to even beer pub, whatever, whichever one, is that for people to even recognize us, to invest, right? It has to be of a certain standard, otherwise we all know there are a lot of investors, floating out there. A WhatsApp conversation is not going to cut it, and we can't even say, oh, we spoke about it on WhatsApp and now please, investors, come on. We're all professionals here, right? So they have to come up with some sort of scope of work, and we all need to do it for all of them. I think for cyber defense, it's already done. And then have that, and whoever comes online sees this updated document and says, oh, okay, like this is what they're doing, I see value, and I'm going to ask, like, even let's say Gary, when I talk to him about my own DAO, he'll think like an investor, right? Okay, what is the plan, what are you doing, how is the tokenomics working? And so we also need to adopt that same behavior. Like, we shouldn't be like far some other area thinking we're like larger than the Web3 race. So yeah, I think these things need to come on to like an onboarding platform. And also another thing which is going to be important, where as we are going, the knowledge of people about Web3 differs. There are some people who know a lot, there are some people who know etiquette. Some people know like not don't know at all. So there has to be, like, I don't know, some sort of video or something to put people at least at the basic level, so they know that they can utilize the website, know how they can get their tokens. It's not that they call up Gary every time like, hey, how do I mint my so I think those videos also, or some sort of like walkthrough, has to be made to start structuring this.
No, but first you need to define what's the story, because I think I was one of the last ones to do the onboarding process, right? And I'm still thinking that it's fight the fake news. And I was with Gary all along. So imagine.
No, but that's going to change once we have the website, right? Like when we're going to
like the original founding story is not really like helpful anymore. It's like serving the confused.
Yeah, it's the 3 values, I think, is a great storyteller.
Now it's time to move on.
From like a single one-man soldier to like a whole community of people. I think now we have to rethink this.
No, but that's the story about the insights.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I thought the insights was about this, and now
the story, it's
transition.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because it's you get into a direction thinking it's something, and then it discovers something completely different, then goes to another place, and you get into so this journey is very interesting.
But that's the journey of TrueSight DAO, because you're trying to reach some insights.
Yeah,
the truth.
Yeah, well, let's say the truth exists.
It's like it has to do a lot with you. I mean, I've been talking a lot about resonance marketing.
Yeah.
And the nice thing that Harry's putting is that we could do it like really easy, the report system and everything by, I don't know, maybe 3.5 minute video for each project owner or whatever. And you can have like a very
strong narrative, viral market.
So actually, like the cell phone website itself, each section dedicated to its own like project that like basically is a sub guild, and those have their own set of updates.
Yeah, it's a platform.
Yeah,
it's a platform.
And then like what happens is like the way I'm actually seeing it from like the financing standpoint, you can come in actually like get in at the token level, which is like what we're all really doing, like sweat equity, or like once like the DEX is up, you can like just buy the token and provide the liquidity, Exactly. Or like each project, the way I see it, that actually like Alexa also defined in the governance like project is that they can start issuing their own like NFTs or tokens, and that from my perspective, I think the NFTs like straight up like most like simple way. Those will be like considered as debentures. In traditional financial terms, debentures has like a fixed maturity date, and fixed like it's a contract. Yeah, you put in your money for this, and then like okay, 6 months later, this is how much you get your principal back, and like this is how much on top. Then that should actually be more than enough financing to get like some.
And how do you interface that with the
DAO? No,
with the countries and the legal structures on the ground.
So I see. So basically, the way I would see each project would actually be its own incorporated entity. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like for example,
you can have like DAOs and sub DAOs, and basically these DAOs are the only entity.
The only
global. It's global. It's an LLC.
Yeah.
And then in every place, it takes the form that it needs to.
Yeah.
Take.
So I think that will have to work a lot.
Basically, TrueSight DAO at the end of the day, you can almost think of it like a holdings company.
What is it?
TrueSight DAO, you can almost think of it as a holdings company.
It's the meta game.
It's a meta game. Yeah, it's like Berkshire Hathaway, right? Like it's like they literally like bought like shares like in like 50+ companies, and like some of them they fully own.
Yeah.
So at the end
Yeah,
of the day, maturity, TrueSight
I'm
DAO.
just going to quickly share something which I shared with Thomas and Gary, so everybody can have a look.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so this is what we were looking at. Like if you have the projects, you have a little bit of description.
Yeah.
Then you might have the different projects with you know, the number of members you
Yeah.
join. So you get that form that Anita that you were talking about, right? And then let's say if you want to know a little bit about the project, you have the project name, description, you have the status of the project. Maybe here we can you know, just add you know, the other, let's say the onboarding details or whatever, you know, the other details that are required for people to know for per project. We might even add the KPIs, you know. Yeah.
That's for
How
is this game working?
This specific in the
yeah.
So.
And then you have also the kind of contributor for the project, you know. So yeah, the main thing what I think we need to get across is, you know, is that okay, if you feel that you're in the group because you in the DAO because you think there is value, right? But how do you make your value more actionable? Because, you know, the thing is that yeah, people are still wondering at, okay, is this still a social experiment project, or can it be more? So, you know, and I think that is where we need to really kind of, you know, bring out the, you know, the ethos. And even like, let's say for the home page, what we were thinking is that we give them a little bit of description. And then again, we have the profiles, like where do you come in? Do you come in as a contributor? Do you want to just understand what's going on, or do you want to find your community, you know, or there is something that is you know, like people are in the discovery process. So, and each of them will have a very you know, streamlined process which will say that okay, you're getting into this. Yeah, once you go into the community, it is up to the community how they actually, you know, react to the projects that are being made or being even suggested. That's when the voting comes in, right? Like if there is a new project, then we say, okay, this is how many people who want to join. Is it even, you know, do we want to take this on because it might be a conflict of interest or whatever.
On the line with the values, not mainly. It's like
yeah.
This is beautiful layout.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of these things with the startups that I'm turning into DAOs.
Oh, okay. Here.
And which is no code. So we went from Excel, the prototype, to no code platform. Like really fast.
That's good.
And it has exactly that kind of like
column layout. Huh?
Yeah, it's very cool.
And yeah, and just to add, so these pages are just almost like smoke screens to actually what happens, because you know this has been already been designed by Gary, right? So this and everything will then kind of like streamline and go into this. Hopefully the conversations that people are having on WhatsApp will at some point, you know, go on to this platform. Then, you know, because I have a feel in another 6 months, if this carries on, people will start leaving, you know, because it's just like bombarding with information, and you know, we shouldn't be the one with overloading people with that kind of information. And this is also where we need onboarding, you know, like videos and stuff like that for people to be at the same, you know, like knowledge level, you know, to also see the experience of the DAO and how we can encourage people to stay on and
participate. Like we can feed ChatGPT with all the conversations and create a summary of the buzz of this week. You know,
that would
and
be
it's
awesome.
like China, Russia versus Peter Pan as a Joker.
He doesn't want that title, but it's landed on his plate.
Summary of the week.
What's going on?
What's going on? What's the buzz? Right? Like
some ChatGPT is like really good at
that's really
I did with a video with an interview that I did and I basically did a transcript and
feed it
and then I started to have conversations about that the dialogue, you know.
Maybe we can like try it with like the transcript from
the different, you know, the opinions of Juan and the other guy and whatever. It's crazy.
Just here, I might need to jump in for privacy reasons. We just need to check that we have a version. I think that's actually now the case that doesn't use our data for training, because then all information you put in the ChatGPT system will be in the public space. And so everybody could get this information through good prompting. Sorry, my son is also talking. So this is something when we choose a system, but I think ChatGPT changed now their policy in this regard. So yeah, but just we need to be careful about this, because it would be a shame, I think, if these things would just go out without control, our information.
How would that be?
They take our training data and actually like the output is actually used to like inform someone else about like what actually happens.
Yeah, which is what they're doing now, right? So
that question.
Yes. Right? So what if you add something and then somebody asks a question, kind of your data would be part of the answer. So this, I mean, it's a question of if we want it. I don't think it's.
Can't we create it like on our own, like make our own ChatGPT or something?
Oh, we have Peter Pan. We have Peter Pan. We have the blockchain ChatGPT.
Like stuff is just communication between machines. I doubt is going to implement it. Like more likely is like the way I see it. Like once the Sunmint like containers are up, basically we have like already set up our own like data centers, then we can like start putting our own machines in to like run our own LLM models.
Yeah, and that's not too far away.
It's not too far away, It's like the land is quite cheap.
Yeah.
We just have to like find like the deal with the import export.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're at a good space now.
Right.
So maybe like in the next, like we can just decide in terms of what are the next steps. I think adding maybe starting because what I'd suggested is that we don't use Wix, because since you can already like code, right? So I can just make the slides and then we can just do it on top of the existing website. Why do we need to pay Wix? It doesn't make sense.
I think what I need from you, Anupa, is to come up with like the pages and the copy.
Yeah.
And then once I know that, I can put them.
Copy. I'm not a great writer. I think somebody else needs to
reach out
it.
to Val. If not Val, then Tess. Are you a great copywriter, Tess? Tess not there. Okay, never mind.
Okay. Yeah, we need somebody who can do some great copy.
So I know the all right. Maybe not the writing, but like the general gist. I know like what's the name? Like there's like someone else in a DAO. Totally forgot her name. I have like what? For actually like cleaning up the words once the content is provided.
And also I think like each DAO should have access or should be prompted to access the ledger, because that also has something to do with the incentivization, right? Like saying that okay, it's not that this is like a freebie. I think maybe people need to just and that also should be there at a very I'm not saying that we become so cheesy, but it has to float around where people can access it to to see their incentivization value.
Sorry to cut you off, Anupa. Aim, how about you? It's like if you can come up with a high level like gist of like what you need in, like provide like the general codes, she can go click.
Okay.
Copy editing, but like she doesn't come up with the content.
But you can do that with ChatGPT. Oh, ChatGPT.
No. So you come out with like the content, come out with the layout, talk to Anne, and like she cleans up the words, and then I'll take that, I'll translate into the web pages itself.
But the thing is that one thing, then we need to tell all the groups that they need to come up with a short summary for the project pages, right? So that is something that
I think the short summaries I can provide, because I kind of like reading mission statements, and then there's like not really a lot of projects, right?
You know what? Maybe what you need to do is like this will be like a new relaunch of the DAO. So you need to resign all the contracts.
Resign?
Resign. No, not resign, but sign again.
Sign again.
That's a weird election of words, right?
Resign. Or kind of like recommit yourself again. So basically what we can do like in the town hall is like if this is the relaunch, if you feel you're not part of this community, feel free to leave.
Or just watch the video. Maybe, you know, like the
Just watch the video.
Daddy in a box explaining the story.
Yeah, because right now we will need people to be more active, because otherwise there's no point, right? Because you know, like then there is
in the beer hall. Stay drunk in the
yeah. Yeah, so we really need people to see yeah, and we can say that we're doing this relaunch because we want the projects to go forward. You know, depending on the quality of the projects, it might get investment. So the thing is that and everything has to be aligned, right? So it can't be and the thing is that also in entry for the WhatsApp groups, I think people need to go through, you know, a certain procedure, I feel, because see, already the WhatsApp groups have their own intent, right? So you know, does it align, you know, what are people thinking, you know? So the thing is that if we have a, you know, or how can we start another group for people who are interested, you know? So I think that conversation also needs to happen in general, like, okay, how committed are you to go forward?
So this is like the part for like the onboarding and the landing pages. So I guess we kind of like cover like a lot of topics today. Just like do a quick summary. So like the next steps for the landing pages and the onboarding, we come up with like so you'll like provide the views
for
follow up, and then we can like forget about the whole like Wix thingy. That's one. And then like for get data side, what I'll do, I'll come up with like the list of actions I need for the platform and like the list of like proposed like and then like propose the what are the economics and as well as the KPI. Like jumped off. I was about to talk to her stuff. So test stuff, she needs to like provide like we can maybe what we can help, since like if this transaction actually goes through, it'll be like the first like test. I would suggest within that particular like channel itself, we should like identify all the holes that needs to be filled as the first like and then like from there we can figure out like how we can fill the holes.
No, but if this is going to be a new project, sorry Gary, just to ask you, if this is going to be a new project, you know, just because it's Ecoverse doesn't mean that the conversation has to be in that group, right? Because there is already a given let's say you know, a given area, and almost she's like almost like the founder, right? So you need to talk to her that how would she, is she only looking for an investor, or does she want it to be a TrueSight DAO project? From what I understood,
coming in more like looking for investment. So I would say okay, maybe there's then like a separate scope, huh? It's like
no, maybe that's the fleet, it's Ecoverse, but the main ship and the captain, it's that person.
So then like talk about the terms of financing. And how
because see exactly, because see in the Ecoverse, I don't know, I could be wrong, I feel all of the projects are coming out with, let's say, like, you know, Web3 outcomes which are for like, let's say, multi-users, right? You know, which is for the greater good of the purpose. Let's say cyber defense it has a market group and it's for like lots of people to use this as a service. Ecoverse, what we were thinking is that we would create something that would help, let's say, small scale producers or producers in general, not one scope or a person, right? So then that has to become a separate conversation, and people can maybe personally you know, take that up in terms of investment and give.
Maybe then the right question will be like, what's the contract, right?
What's the contract, right? Do we have the contract with the community itself, or do we actually have the contract with the person that's actually like championing like for helping
obviously, I mean, I'm guessing Tess at the end of the day would want to be the founder and the champion of the thing, right? Here I feel she's just looking for an investor, and that's fine, you know. But to say that like we take it up as a project, but then, you know, I don't like, you have to ask her indirect, you know, separately, that in terms of like the monetization, it's not like DAO based, right? She's looking for, let's say, you know, selling XYZ, and then there is an investor who will get that cut. So, you know, and maybe the TrueSight can, you know, get like a referral fee or a project initiator fee. I don't know, you know, that has to be something that you guys have to talk to her about.
The way I would see it, then there's like two aspects to it, right? If she says this wants it to be part of like the Ecoverse 21, then like the DAO will actually do something more than just like say, okay, this is the financing terms. You know, it's like we say, okay, we'll like figure out the whole set of logistics. That's one thing. But if like she says, I only want like investors, that's like, okay, what are the terms of financing? And like, okay, if you screw up, how do we actually get the money back? It's very simple.
Yeah, and also like maybe Anita, you can talk about this, because see, let's say we just had one conversation, like I didn't even go through the WhatsApp, right? So if she wants it to be a part of the thing, there are a lot of legal aspects to this conversation, right? Like it's almost like an agro company who is looking for, let's say finance. So now the thing is that we don't even know the terms and the background of that project. So that has to be, she has to state something, give a report or a presentation, that then Ecoverse as a sub DAO will take a call whether, we want to go forward or, because it shouldn't be like 3 people deciding, right?
There must be like a template,
Yeah.
with somehow a contract, like.
Yeah, there must be like a contract.
And
so
then-
TAS will be like signing a contract with that entity, and then there will be like a recourse for that.
Yeah.
In terms of like,
Yeah, before the contract, there has to be some sort of like presentation, right? Like, okay, this is the scope, this
So-
is this.
There's a business model for this in China. I've been looking for this kind of like kind of joint ventures between parts in an ecosystem and external companies, and the technology is basically about the contracting. How do you create win-win contracts and all that stuff? So and there's one guy who's doing one organization that it's doing a blockchain
I
for
think
this kind of stuff.
I think for this initial like transaction, since we're just validating the whole business model anyway, maybe we don't really even need to involve the blockchain. We just need to involve the legal entities.
You're selling this because of Ton or
Ton and boundaryless.
I see.
No, because this week we need to sign some things with the people from Ton, and then Ton is investments, and like there are like a lot of things going on
I see.
that maybe we can use off-chain in one hand, and TrueDAO on the other hand.
Yeah.
So maybe.
So like the TrueSight DAO, if you actually need legal legal entity, is like we already have like incorporated a legal entity like Delaware,
Nice.
US.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called TrueSight.
Oh, really? Oh, it's already registered.
No, but
I'm just.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
we are registered in Delaware. Oh, I didn't know.
No, me neither.
The US entity is registered in Delaware, so any of like our software implementation will be like operated by that, owned by that.
Yeah, I think all of this.
I mean,
needs to
Like
be
later on, if we
Yes.
say the say Ecoverse 21, like we actually want to like really formalize it, we can like register a separate company, no problem.
I think this needs to show somewhere where we can find it easily. So there should be in our governance structure framework, we should have a point that says something about exactly this issue, and then with a link, for example, to an appendix, a document, it can even be a homepage where it's specified, because otherwise it's really difficult to make contracts, and also for the governors, whoever decides then to make decisions.
I get your point of view. So it's almost like the memorandum of association, like all those like stuff for each project should like be like easily accessible in like some folders.
Yes, because as I understand, our DAO, mother DAO, let's call it, is kind of the umbrella for everything, and the others are separate entities, but we are still connected. Yeah, I mean, we want to be transparent. That's the Web3 ethos, right?
Yeah, everything is
Later
open.
on, if you can like really even want to have like an off-chain representation of the mother DAO itself, I sense that we should like have it like incorporated in like Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland.
Yeah, Geneva.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But like that's kind of like still a little early right now. Yeah.
Yeah, there are like a lot of costs involved, right?
Well, it was what Anita. It's like Günther is like saying association is actually like quite cheap to like set up. Huh?
Yes, I think an association when it's not making money, actually, then it's it's super cheap, but if you will have revenue, it's more expensive. But I think it wasn't that much. A foundation, on the other hand, is pretty expensive. I don't remember the exact figures, but it was not that bad.
All right. So like
Yeah.
the DAO itself is not really making money. It's like the various entities.
Right, you're
itself
not
is actually-
paying
You can
taxes
have
and
like
nothing.
a donation maybe.
Yeah.
For the foundation.
So then like the for-profit entities, when they like channel money back to the vault, you can actually like think of it as like a donation of sorts.
For what?
Well, okay, that's a
Yeah,
legal
so that's like something
decision.
we have to like think about.
Anita is the right person to answer that, right?
Yeah, because she's based in Switzerland.
Okay.
She's based there.
Yeah.
She knows the legal side over there. Alexa,
Yeah, and we have
This governor's meeting should be there,
of course,
right?
we will sell our book there. All right. Okay, I think yeah, it's like 1.5 hours. Maybe like call a break to like this meeting, and then like let's like act upon like the follow-up steps, and then we'll like follow up in the various like channels. Yeah. So
Okay.
I see a few like things actionable. One is like the actionable like things on the landing pages, and like the other is actionable things on the Ecoverse 21. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
There's actually nothing much actionable. Like get data, like Inc. I'll like think about the tokenomics, and I'll propose like for
Oh, the narrative and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
the downside of that. That
Yeah.
needs to happen, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Cool. Yeah, then we will let's maybe in another 2 weeks let's have
Yes.
another call.
Yes.
And and maybe for the landing page, maybe we can just like meet before that also.
Yes, please.
Have
some
like a
time.
working thing.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. And then we can meet up like all of us in 2 weeks for this thing.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Very cool what you're doing.
Okay. Bye.
bye. Enjoy Brazil.
Gary, how was the ceremony?
I threw up.
Why
Oh, no.
can we not all be so close that we need to talk about your throwing up? But how was it?
I threw up a lot.
Maybe stop the recording.
You can stop the recording and do the iOS update.